Hey, this is Don. And are you concerned because you've got a history of bankruptcy, or maybe one was just discharged on your account? Well, in this video today, we're going to be talking about bankruptcy and can I still buy a home rent to own? The answer is yes, you can. This is going to be a practical guide to understand your options, rebuilding credit, and finding a path to home ownership, even after financial hardship. Um, Down in the description, you'll find a link to my lease option quick start checklist where you can find more information on how to purchase a home using the lease purchase strategy. So let's begin. Understanding bankruptcy and home ownership challenges. Here's the scale. Over 517,000 people filed personal bankruptcy in 2024, impacting credit scores and buying power significantly. Now, the timeline: bankruptcy remains on credit reports for 7 to 10 years, but recovery in home buying can begin much sooner. The alternative: rent to own offers a structured, supported path to home ownership while you actively rebuild your credit. What is rent to own and how does it work? Well, it's a bridge to ownership. Rent to own lets you rent a home with the option to purchase it later, often applying a portion of monthly rent toward the eventual down payment. Build for credit rebuilders. Designed for buyers facing credit challenges or recent setbacks like bankruptcy. These programs frequently include credit coaching and score improvement, support throughout the retail and rental period. Bankruptcy impact on rent to own eligibility. Past bankruptcy is not automatic disqualifier. Many rent to own programs are specifically designed to work with your situation. There are some specialized programs that do exist. There are certain companies, one is the JAAG Properties. They specialize in helping post-bankruptcy clients qualify for rent-to-own arrangements, removing the stigma and replacing it with a structured plan. Then there's active credit support. Dedicated credit teams work alongside you during the rent-to-own period, offering guidance to improve credit scores and prepare you for traditional mortgage qualification. And then there's transparent qualification. Providers conduct a credit analysis up front, setting realistic timelines and milestones so you always know where you stand on the road to ownership. Now, let's look at the legal protections for rent-to-own contracts and bankruptcy. Consumer Bankruptcy Reform Act. The CBRA clarifies consumer rights within a rent-to-own contract, ensuring debtors can keep or return rented property without penalty following a bankruptcy discharge. While its primary focus is personal property, the CBRA reflects a broader trend towards stronger consumer protections in rent-to-own agreements, giving buyers greater confidence and security. Now, here's your rights. Choose to keep or return property after discharge. No financial penalty for returned rented items. Growing legal framework protecting rent-to-own participants. And consult a bankruptcy attorney to understand your specific protections. Here's the waiting periods and loan options after bankruptcy. All right, so let's say you filed your bankruptcy. There's a waiting period. Chapter 7 is 2 to 4 years, but Chapter 13 is sooner. If you go for an FHA loan, that's Federal Housing Administration loan, you need at least a credit score of 580 or more with 3.5% down. If you have a Veterans Administration loan or USDA loan, 2 to 3 year wait. Understanding the waiting periods and loan thresholds after bankruptcy helps you plan significantly. So using the rent-to-own period to hit the credit milestones that unlock traditional financing. Rebuilding credit, the key to homeownership success. All right, now let's pay close attention here. Pay your rent on time, every payment. Consistent on-time rent payments build a positive payment history, the single most important factor in your credit score. Next, reduce your existing debt. Paying down balances, lowering your credit utilization ratio, giving your score a meaningful boost over the rent-to-own period. Next, avoid large new loans. Resist taking on new debt. Each hard inquiry and new balance can temporarily set back your credit progress. And finally, work with a credit specialist. A personalized credit repair plan from a specialist gives you a clear roadmap to mortgage pre-qualification. Now, renting versus rent-to-own after bankruptcy, what to expect. Now, with traditional renting after bankruptcy is possible, particularly with private landlords who may be more flexible than large management companies. But ownership remains out of reach. But what about rent-to-own programs? Rent-to-own provides a structured path toward ownership, with built-in credit support making each monthly payment a step forward, not just a housing expense. Now here's a pro tip. Transparency matters. Being upfront with landlords and rent-to-own providers about your bankruptcy history builds trust and often leads to more flexible, supportive arrangements. Here's a real world example. Credit improvement for rent-to-own programs. Credit improvement companies are leading examples of how rent-to-own programs can serve clients recovering from financial hardship. Open acceptance policy. They accept applicants with past bankruptcy or consumer proposals. There's no automatic disqualification. Credit analysis and coaching provides in-depth credit reviews and ongoing coaching throughout the entire program duration. And then, mortgage ready goal. Focus on measurable credit score improvements so clients can confidently qualify for traditional mortgage financing. Your path forward to home ownership. Yes, bankruptcy is a setback, but it doesn't have to be a permanent barrier. With the right program and mindset, home ownership remains within reach. Rent to own really does work. It's a viable, supported route to rebuild your credit and move forward. Remember to know your credit score. That's very important. And when to start? Start today, even after a bankruptcy discharge. Now, if you'd like a copy of my lease option quick start checklist, in the description below this video, you'll see the link to it. And if the video was helpful to you, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks again for watching.